एक आदमी थी, फिर मक्खन खाता सी हिंदुस्तान में, 2 सेर दूध पीता सी एक आदमी.
Something which brought to me a nod and a pat on the back to get back to my work for research, for which these Halfmoon files were sent to me by these friends of mine. The problem is that the researcher has to decide which or where or what he will research about a particular topic. The Halfmoon files has been researched by various people. Document is made all over the world, in Germany.
The scientists working at the camp are not interested in personal stories.
In Britain, in America.
एक आदमी थी, फिर मक्खन खाता सी हिंदुस्तान में, 2 सेर दूध पीता सी एक आदमी.
And even in Korea.
포로들의 생활은 고통 그 자체였습니다. 끊임없이 종교 탄압을 당했고 원치 않는 음성 시험대에 올라야
they all
했습니다.
missed, shall we say, the bus. What is the Halfmoon file? What do we mean by it? Why was it created? How, after 100 years, we are still talking about it without knowing what to talk about it? These are the things we must understand and help the researchers and the citizens at large to know the message carried out or conveyed by the Halfmoon files. The message is very clear in the voices, the recordings of these Indian soldiers in the German jail near Berlin during the World War, while the war was still on, and these Indian soldiers who had been taken prisoner were being used as part of the museum. The Germans expected to help them to teach their own soldiers and their own citizens, to help them to rule the world. After all, that's what the war was about. German civilization. These soldiers who were taken prisoner of war had seen both sides of the no man's land. They had fought in the murderous trenches in Belgium, and when captured, they were detained in the German war jail near Berlin. The name of the jail in English translation comes to be known as the Halfmoon jail. Why Halfmoon? That's another research angle which is very interesting, because the majority of the soldiers who were imprisoned there were Muslims, and Germany was trying to join hands with the Ottoman Empire to encourage these Muslim soldiers to declare war against the Allies, those whom against they were fighting. That is a war which is still on, which we do not recognize or refuse to recognize. Why? That's why the researcher must find out and educate the public so that we do not commit the same mistake which Germany committed 100 years ago. What happened in that jail? How did the voices of the soldiers got recorded and heard 100 years later in Punjab? These are the questions which arise in every research. We have to decide whether we wish to help Schaffner to find the homes of these soldiers, from where they came from. Does the researcher do it, or does their next of kin today is, as we say, bound to do it? These are things which we have to decide as we go on. How the voices came to be recorded, that's the genius of the German scientist. Now that brings to light another angle in the research, the unique alliance. What was it? The military, the scientist, and the entertainment industry, of all things. They combined together to produce the Halfmoon file recordings. And today, 100 years later, these recordings are part of award-winning films at international festivals, carrying the voice of the Indian soldier, Mal Singh. What does he say? Mal Singh says, "Ek aadmi si," and he goes on in his Punjabi to tell you the story of how he came to the war, why he came into the war, what happened in the war, and what is happening now in the war 100 years ago. We are listening to him, a live story, as he sits imprisoned in the Halfmoon jail.
एक आदमी थी, शेर मांस मक्खन खाता थी हिंदुस्तान में, 2 शेर दूध पीता थी। एक आदमी, उस किसी आदमी ने उसने अंग्रेजा की नौकरी की। वो आदमी जुर्ग की लड़ाई को आ गया। उस आदमी नू जर्मनी ने कैद कर लिया। वो उसनू इंडिया जाना चाहता है। वो लिया है, वो हिंदुस्तान जाऊगा, उसको वो खाना मिलेगा। वो आदमी 3 वर्ष हो गए हैं, खबर नहीं कब होएगा। ये हिंदुस्तान में वो आदमी जाएगा, उसको खाना वो मिलूगा। जे 2 साल वो आदमी इत्थे हो रह गया, वो आदमी मर जाऊगा। महाराज कृपा करे ता एक खेती सुला कर ले, इत्थे असी चले जाइए।
These are things which one has to appreciate while doing research, because it's not merely a few voices being recorded by a scientist. No, they are a message being conveyed by a soldier who has seen both sides of the horrible no man's land. The very fact that we wish to call it, as even present day civilization, no man's land, brings to mind as to whether we are sensible or we lost our mind. How can there be a no man's land? These are the questions which the researcher must find out.